So when I learned about Adriana Smith's case, it was pretty much when she was in the hospital and they had her, she was brain dead. I didn't know what caused her to go into the hospital. I was just, you ever come across a story and you're just irate at what's happening that you don't go to dig to find more because you know you're going to get further pissed off? And that's why. So basically, she had a condition, not a condition, she had symptoms that were dismissed. And scrolling through Facebook tonight, I came across two sisters of mine who they shared similar situations where they were dismissed. And I'm sad to say I'm one of those people that have been dismissed. And I'm getting teary eyed because it's one of those things where, and I remember going prior to 2016, 2017, I remember going to the ER, going to the doctor. I feel like somebody stabbing me in the head with an ice pick. Oh, you just have a headache. Oh, we'll just give you some Tylenol. Fast forward to 2016, after countless MRIs, CAT scans, finally decided to use a blue contrast. Oh, you have neurosarcoidosis. As a matter of fact, they didn't call it neurosarcoidosis, they called it sarcoidosis. Well, sarcoidosis is known for attacking the lungs, I'm assuming the heart, I know the liver and the kidney. It's like a tumor and it can kill you. And when I went to the neurologist, he said, well, we should do a brain biopsy, but we're not going to do it. Because the reality is no one really wants to operate on the brain unless you absolutely have to. So they decided just to treat it with prednisone. Even though I don't have medical advice, they should have treated me. They should have did the brain biopsy. Because I wouldn't have went through what I went through. They would have did the brain biopsy at the beginning. So the prednisone, I was on it, and then I noticed my breathing wasn't right, and I just went to a specialist for that. Well, I said, I was told I have sarcoidosis. They were like, ma'am, you don't have sarcoidosis. We see no scar tissue on your lungs. We see no scar tissue anywhere. So we're going to take you off the prednisone. End up going to a specialist, finally got to a specialist in MUSC. He said, well, your headache's gone? I was no, because I had a spinal tap. You do not want a spinal tap. I get a spinal tap. I remember at the beginning of my diagnosis, they said they basically lowered the spinal cord fluid pressure, if I'm saying that correctly. Then from there, I remember gaining a whole bunch of weight, cravings. Prednisone makes you see things you don't want to see, you hear things you don't want to hear. And I got to this place where my headaches went away, and I was like, okay, I'm good. And then when I say like that, they came back with a vengeance. And it was ironically how that happened because the guy who I was seeing, he said, if your headaches come back, you definitely have neurosarcoidosis and not sarcoidosis. And immediately when my headaches came back, sadly, I was in a climate where I taught where I did not feel comfortable taking time off. So I stayed. I remember one time we had a career forum for roses. I had some heels on, and I just remember having to take the heels off because I was stumbling. It's like I couldn't get my balance. The headaches came back, like I told y'all, with a vengeance. On two separate occasions. One is when I got rushed to the hospital. The other one was like a couple months before I completely lost speech. I could not sleep. Like nothing could help me go to sleep. My hearing was off. Like kids could be right in front of me and I couldn't hear what they were saying if I had a whole bunch of noise, but I could hear something 3 rooms over. It was really weird. It was like, so yeah. So I never forget, the principal came into the classroom to observe me. And I'll admit, legit had nothing really we were doing serious that day. Because with my kids, sometimes I allowed them to do work to catch up on their other work. But he came in to observe, and great teachers, we can come over lessons like that. But I noticed when I went to say something, I couldn't say anything. So I typed on the smart board something and went outside, and I couldn't articulate to the principal. And finally, when I got it out, the principal told me to go to the health room. Didn't escort me, didn't ask someone to walk with me. I had to walk by myself. I get to the health room, they take my blood pressure, it's super high, and call my stepdad, who was my stepdad at the time, and my mom. They came and took me to the hospital. I know I checked in at 12 something that afternoon. I don't think I checked in until about 8 or 9, and they didn't take, and when they said while I was back there, I had a seizure. Fast forward, they over-medicate me because they're trying to, what's the word I want to say, aggressively treat this and realize, no, we need to do the brain biopsy. Do the brain biopsy, it's confirmed, yes, you have neurosarcoidosis. But the aggressive medication causes me to go into psychosis, which it took me probably a month to a month and a half to come out of that. I remember it. So from that neurosarcoidosis diagnosis, I ended up getting a pulmonologist. Not told the story before. Pulmonologist, neurologist, neurologist, rheumatologist. I had to see my eye doctor twice a year because they eventually had to put me on some new medication to make sure my eyesight wasn't going. Y'all, I'm not even. I can't. And to be honest with you, another thing I thought about too was while I was making this post on Facebook, the amount of money I spent with insurance. So not only when you're dealing with misdiagnosis and you're dismissing people and you're constantly they're treating and treating and treating. That's why I'm gonna be honest with you. It bothers me when I hear about cancer prevention. I don't see why in 2025 we can't completely eradicate cancer. That's another story for another day. So another thing to bring up, and that's probably gonna be what I'm gonna stop because I'm at 8 minutes and I can keep talking. So I'm gonna do part 2.